Shiur is dedicated to Nishmas Rachalei Basar Chaim Tzvi. We have been discussing at some length the topic of bishul on Shabbos, and what I wanted to shift into is the Isure Draban. What we have been discussing, preparing tea, various dinim of bishul doraisa, and now we move on to areas Gzeros Draban. There are three main Gzeros Draban when it comes to the malacha of bishul on Shabbos. Gzera number one is the Gzera of Shehiya, which means you're not allowed to go ahead and leave food on a fire from before Shabbos to become cooked on Shabbos. The second Gzera we'll discuss, we won't get to today, is the Yisr of Chazara, and that means something that was already fully cooked, you took off the fire on Shabbos, you want to put back on. So again, a lot of detailed restrictions how to keep food or get food warmed up on Shabbos. And finally is the Gzera of Hatmana, the Yisr of insulating on Shabbos, and over the coming shiurim we'll discuss each of these very, very crucial Gzeros D'Rabbanan. So first we begin with the topic of Shehiya, the prohibition of leaving food on an open fire to become cooked on Shabbos itself. And in order to get a handle on this topic, we open up with the Mishnah in Masechet Shabbos, a very famous Mishnah, the beginning of the third parak of Masechet Shabbos, Parakira. And the Mishnah, first of all, we should just get under our belts the idea that in the Gemara there are three different kinds of ovens. There's something called a tanur, which is a triangular oven, and because of its triangular shape, it retains a lot of heat. It's a very, very hot kind of oven. Then you have a kira, which is a second kind of oven, which is basically two open boxes, two open squares that sit side by side, kirayim, a kira. And the third kind of oven is a kupach, is a single box where you put wood and the like, fuel, in the bottom of the box, and then you put a pot on top. This is the kupach. We generally, the Ramah tells us that our ovens have a din of a kira, so our focus primarily is on the topic of the kira, and the Mishnah tells us that a kira shisikua bekasha begvava. If you have a kira, this kind of ancient oven that was fueled, the heat from the oven came from kash and gvava. Kash is straw, gvava is a different kind of grass. In other words, it's not a great level of heat. This creates a small little fire and it dissipates very quickly. No, it's not allowed topshil. You're allowed to put a topshil on this kashim gvava, begefes uve'etzim. However, if you're using bona fide lumber, using real wood, then the Mishnah says a very, very crucial line. Like our ovens, we have real sources of heat. That's what we call gefes uve'etzim. So in such a case, lo yitain, you're not allowed to put food on this flame. Ad sheyigrof or ad sheyitain esa efer. It is prohibited to put food on the flame until you engage in yigrof, or ad sheyitain esa efer, or until you place down some kind of ash. What exactly is this talking about? So this is a very, very crucial Gemara. The Gemara tells if you have a kira, let's remember, the Ramah says all our ovens have a din of a kira, and it is fueled with bona fide fire, gefes ve'etzim, a real source of heat that's going to last. That's our fires as well. You're not allowed to put food on this kira until you do either garuf, which means to sweep away the coals, or ad sheyitin esa efer, or you put ash on top of the coals. Somehow you have to remove the impact of the coals from this heat source in order to put food on the fire. You'll notice, however, very, very clearly there is something vague in this Gemara. The Gemara is vague on a very, very fundamental point. It says lo yitain. And when it says lo yitain, what exactly does that mean? When lo yitain? When can you not put the food on the fire? I'm going to go ahead and use a board over here. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to go ahead and outline the Gemara on the board. We'll see if it comes across. But the Gemara has a basic question. Lo yitain. There are two possibilities when lo yitain will apply. What are the two possibilities? One possibility is lo yitain from Erev Shabbos. You can't put food on the fire Erev Shabbos unless you remove the ash or you cover the ash. Unless you do grufa, you remove the ash, or unless you put afer, the coals. Unless you remove the coals, grufa, or you cover the coals with ash, that's the other possibility. You have to do something in order to do this Erev Shabbos, even Erev Shabbos. Or the possibility lo yitain means on Shabbos itself. You can't put food on a fire on Shabbos itself unless you remove or cover the coals. Two possibilities what the word lo yitain means. One possibility is lo yitain means Erev Shabbos, and the other possibility is lo yitain means on Shabbos itself. Is this visible? The words are visible? Okay, I'm told that Mrs. Bomzer that the words are visible. Okay, I'm hoping they look a little small to me, but we'll go for it. So we're going to make a little chart. Two possibilities. One possibility is when it says in the Mishnah Lo Yitain, it means Erev Shabbos. Now, if you're not allowed to put food on the fire on Erev Shabbos, if that's going to be Asr, I'm going to mark Asr with an X. If it's going to be Asr even Erev Shabbos, then what's going to be the din on Shabbos itself? If it's Asr on Erev Shabbos, then certainly it's going to be Asr to put food on the fire on Shabbos itself. So what we have over here is a chart. If it's Asr, X, on Erev Shabbos, Kol Shekain certainly is going to be X on Shabbos itself. That's one reading of the Mishnah. When the Mishnah says Lo Yitain,